In this episode of Falmouth in Focus, we climb aboard the Cape's new trolley, meet with the sculptor who's given the Highfield Hall lawn a distinct new look, and take a look at the upcoming Jewish Film Festival. All this and much more on this episode of Falmouth in Focus.
Hello and welcome to Falmouth in Focus, FCTV's current affairs program. I'm your host, Michael Kasparian. The Cape Cod Regional Transit Authority unveiled their new trolley recently. FCTV met with Tom Cahir, our former state rep, who is now the CCRTA administrator.
Tom Cahir, and I'm the administrator for the Cape Cod Regional Transit Authority. So for over 25 years, the Cape Cod Regional Transit Authority has provided summer trolley service to the community of Falmouth. It's called the Whoosh Trolley, and it starts at the Falmouth Mall and it goes down through Main Street and eventually gets to Woods Hole. And it's been a very successful and popular service here in the town of Falmouth. And we've watched it over the years and monitored it closely. Ridership has been great. A lot of people take it to go down Main Street and use the business community, but many use it to go down to Woods Hole to work. And so over the last few years, our mobility manager and others at CCRTA felt, would it make sense for us to invest in a trolley, because it's the only part of what we do that we actually farmed out that service to a private vendor. We felt that if we owned the vehicle and our drivers were on those trolleys, would be really emphasizing customer service, be more savvy as to how to work the community, work in the community. And so we made a significant investment in 5 new trolleys. Some are being used in Barnstable, and 2 will be here in Falmouth, and ultimately probably in Bourne and Provincetown as well. But today we're unveiling the brand new trolley that we have here, which is very, very pretty, very aesthetically pleasing in the community. And it will be running starting this weekend down to Woods Hole throughout the summer. And it's going to be running on the half hour, coming down Main Street and then ultimately to Woods Hole. But a new feature that we have, our C-Line fixed route service that comes from Hyannis to Woods Hole all year round on the hour. That service will still be intact, but when it gets to the Falmouth Mall, instead of coming down Main Street, it will go down Jones Road so that we're able to use the courthouse, the hospital, Bramblebush, and some of those facilities that heretofore would not be easily able to access with public transportation. And the C-Line will then continue on down to Woods Hole. So it's kind of an exciting day for us at the RTA to be able to announce to Falmouth they're actually expanding service here, and we're going to be doing it very professionally and with customer service being the emphasis throughout.
The new Whoosh will be running daily from the Falmouth Bus Depot to the Falmouth Mall to Woods Hole and back. Thanks to Jeff Wyman for that story. The kickoff to summer wouldn't be complete without a visit to the Seacrest Beach Hotel to take in the annual Cape Cod Quahog Day festivities. Let's see what Doug the Quahog predicts for our 2019 beach weather.
How was the voyage this year for Doug the Quahog?
Oh, what a year it's been.
Yes?
What a year it's been. After last year's huge success, because we nailed it yet again with our prediction, he's been on fire, everything from Letterman to Leno, but those guys aren't on anymore, are they?
They're not.
No.
They're not. But so how does Doug spend the off time, the winter? How does he prepare for such a glorious day and an important day? Because people are weighing on his every word and what he's going to deliver today.
He, after a successful year like last year, he spends the year really doing a lot of press junkets, hanging out with notorious figures all around Massachusetts and the Cape and Islands. And he's handled by a couple of the security guys, are really his best buds in the off season. So they get to take good care of him, make sure he's going to be safe and ready to predict yet again what this amazing summer is going to bring to Cape Cod.
Well, a lot rides on the weather here in the Cape.
Yes.
For this time of year. It is the first official day of summer. It started at 11:54. I don't know how everybody celebrated, but I did something I'm not proud of.
We don't want to know about that. Move on,
Guys,
please.
these guys were there. It's a long story. So we need to know, what will the word be for the summer of 2019?
2019. Hold
Doug the
on.
Quahog.
Doug the Quahog.
Where's the drum roll?
Right on, man. Okay.
Is that distracting for Doug?
That's, okay, so Doug's big thing, he goes, you know the Cape can be cool, as we all know from being down here. It's going to be a cool summer. That's what we got going on. But out of that coolness, 75 days of great beach weather.
Doug! Everybody.
Doug? He's very confident. And in 11 years of doing this, he's only been wrong once. I'm sorry to mention that. But that's it.
What year was
70.
it? 2016?
We don't talk about the past, we talk about the future. 75 days. You guys ready for a great summer on Cape Cod?
You heard it from Doug himself. Expect 75 days of beautiful beach weather this summer. Thanks to Andrew for that coverage. It's time now for 3 things from Town Hall, FCTV's condensed version of the takeaways from recent municipal meetings. Selections are chosen based on community impact.
During the last Selectmen's meeting, Bob Davis, General Manager of the Steamship Authority, gave a brief status update to the Selectmen at their request. The board was mainly interested in the plans and designs for the new terminal building in Woods Hole. Members of the board spoke out to the Steamship Authority about the ill-received plans from the Woods Hole community. Bob Davis reassured the board that the Steamship Authority is interested in working with the public to fulfill the needs of transportation and in meeting design criteria that works for the community.
We're up against the deadline now in terms of being able for them to do the design schematic, get the documents ready, and then get those out to bid for next summer. We've been pushing that issue. There is a distinct possibility that the delays that we've encountered at this point will end up causing this process to go into another off-season.
Seems like there's some urgency to really get some meaningful community input, not only from the neighbors, many of which are here, but also from this board. And I know that when I attended the last outreach meeting, as did Doug Brown, you know, there was a real sense that the board was not receptive. And I made the comment, you know, that we need you to, you know, if you're here, to accept some feedback, you know, please have an open, let's do a reset and have some open communications.
The Selectmen also interviewed and appointed many members of the public to boards, commissions, and committees in their meeting, including incumbents to regulatory boards such as the Board of Health, Conservation Commission, Historical Commission, Zoning Board, and the Board of Assessors. Other appointments were made to the Edward Marks Advisory Committee, Commission on Disabilities, Substance Abuse Commission, and the Waterways Committee.
I'm torn between wanting to honor someone who has done it before and wants to come back to it, with saying it's also a good idea to get some new people on the committees that are coming forward. And but I guess I do want to honor the work that Mr. Hosey did with the bulkhead and the Falmouth Harbor work. So I guess I would move that we appoint Joseph Hosey to the term ending June 30th, 2022.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Ray Jack gave a very detailed presentation to the board regarding the Cape Cod Canal Transportation Study. Mr. Jack detailed possible changes to the canal bridges, possible plans for bridge replacement and design, and what the future may look like in the longer term for roadways connecting the bridges to exits and outlets in the surrounding area. The board took a vote in support of Mr. Jack's recommendations for how he feels the plans should move forward.
I'm here this evening just to give you a brief overview of what MassDOT is proposing for the Bourne and the Sagamore bridges specifically, on the bridges as well as the approaches and the Cape Cod Canal overall as a transportation corridor.
And to do the constant fixing, it'll just be a nightmare forever.
Well, that's for the bridges, but that's sort of in the hands of the Corps of Engineers.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I agree. I think it's in the general public's best interest.
I agree.
So I move to support that.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Mr. Chairman, just clarify then, it would be a letter on behalf of the board confirming endorsement of support for option 3A as delineated in the draft plans.
Correct.
And I work with Ray to fine-tune the final language of it, but transmit it on behalf of the board if that's agreeable.
Exactly.
To see the meetings in their entirety, Check out Government Channel 15's program schedule at fctv.org. We now turn to this month's calendar segment. The Falmouth Village Association's Arts and Crafts Street Fair begins at 10 a.m. on July 10th. The Cape Cod Hydrangea Festival is an annual celebration of the region's signature flowers on Cape Cod. This 10-day celebration runs from July 12th through July 21st with daily garden tours, workshops, and lectures. The Barnstable County Fair, an annual summer tradition on Cape Cod for over 170 years, runs from July 22nd through July 28th. Here at the gallery at FCTV, artist Louise Luckenbill tells train travel stories through art. Her show entitled Let's Take a Trip on the Train runs throughout July. Also here at FCTV on July 12th, we will be hosting the first of 2 Summer Fun Time Fridays for students aged 6 to 12. Please call FCTV to sign up for this puppet making and claymation event. And save the date for the grand opening of the new Falmouth Community Media Center on July 25th from 4 to 6 p.m. We're going to take a quick break to look at an adoptable cat from People for Cats. But when we return, we'll do some outdoor shopping at the Falmouth Farmers Market. Stay with us.
Hunter is a handsome domestic short-hair male. This 8-year-old sports an orange tabby coat liberally accented with white on his bib, tummy, paws, and tail. He also has a very cute splash of white on his nose. Hunter is a total love bug, adoring all the attention he can get. He came to PFC when his owner realized that Hunter was lonely because he was by himself much of the time. Hunter tends to have crystals in his urine, so he needs to be kept on a prescription food that dissolves the crystals. Hunter has also been loved a bit too much and needs to lose a few pounds to get to an ideal weight. Why not come in and meet this love bug and see if you'd like to give this big purring machine a forever home of his own?
Welcome back. The Falmouth Farmers Market features vegetables and fruits from farms in Falmouth, on Cape Cod, and around Buzzards Bay and southeastern Massachusetts. This will be their 4th year at Marine Park, and FCTV was there.
Hi, my name is Jennifer Christian. I'm the market manager this year. So we have a couple new vendors joining us this year. We have an exclusively ginger and turmeric vendor coming when the time is right. We have 2 new food vendors with us, healthy street food, and then also Ella's Kitchen is joining us again with their wood-fired pizza. We have bread is back from Pen d'Avignon, which is awesome. It's a great treat. Goes well with the olive oil and the balsamic and the fresh cheese. We open at the beginning of May usually and go until mid-October, and it's Thursdays every week from noon to 6. If you were to stop in the farmers market and you wanted to know more about the market itself, we actually have a booth that we run as the market as a nonprofit where you can buy merchandise, talk to people. You can use your SNAP benefits, and the HIP program is accepted here. So our information table has all of that available to anybody who comes along, and we're just on the Flying Bridge side. Well, my personal opinion of food is that it is the great unifier. And every culture, every person eats 3 meals a day. And when you are shopping at a farmer's market, you're really voting with every dollar. And I think a lot of people that come to the farmer's market are really trying to think intentionally about where their dollars are being spent and the food that they're feeding their family. So the fresher a food is, the more vitamins, minerals, and nutrients are in that food. So I think a lot of people here have the idea that they are getting the freshest and healthiest produce that you can get in Falmouth every Thursday here at the farmers market. Because our farmers are coming out in 15 minutes late, like in the parking lot, because they were just picking their food. Like, this is the freshest food. Like, I mean it in every way. You can't get fresher lettuce than what our vendors are bringing. And so any of the worry now with like all the travel food has to go through to get to your plate, the best way to know you have safe, healthy food for your family is to come ask the farmer and talk to them and say, how did you grow this? When was it picked? Tell me all about it. Tell me how to cook it. Our vendors are super happy to help you learn about what they're selling. So it's a great opportunity to learn, come as a family, cook as a family. Cooking together kind of is a better way to connect with the people you're eating with, and food is a way that you can really connect with the people you're sitting with, is to like work through that and actually cook the meal together. So I guess I just want to encourage everybody to come down to the farmers market, not just for the healthy produce, but to help support a healthy year-round economy here in Falmouth. Because every dollar you spend with local vendors and local businesses, more of it tends to stay in the community, and that's really, as a nonprofit organization, we're really trying to support our local farmers, our local artisans, and our local vendors, especially around food and farming. And we think it's a great way to spend the day. And we hope to see you here from 12 to 6 on Thursdays.
The Farmers Market is open Thursdays, noon to 6 p.m. until October 10th. Thanks to Jackson Wiesman for that coverage. Visionary sculptor Patrick Doherty has crafted his unique sculptures made of sticks and saplings around the world. In 2018, he was commissioned to build one of his installations on the lawn of historic Highfield Hall. With the help of dozens of local volunteers, he completed the work on June 21st and met with us a few moments later.
Yeah, my name is Patrick Doherty. I live in Chapel Hill, North Carolina. I'm a sculptor. I'm an artist for hire. So someone at Highfield had seen some work, maybe at the Peabody Essex or Tower Hill Botanic Garden or some other place that's nearby. So that set them up to invite me to come here, and I made a site visit a year ago, and we looked at the place and decided how we could best spring a sculpture into their site and see what we could do. Highfield Hall, we ordered material from upstate New York from a willow farm that grows it, and we're some of the primary users of that material. They line it out like a crop. They cut it and then it comes back up from the same stump. So it's quite efficient and economical, but it's also a bit environmentally friendly. They're growing it as a crop, and it renews itself all the time. It's very esoteric, but we were looking at leaf patterns and the veins on the back of leaves, and in a way they're kind of little supply lines. Immediately I realized that it was going to be such a big piece if we tried to use that as a model that kind of abstracted the idea and made a fleur-de-lis. Took and made a little drawing, laid that drawing out on the lawn, scaled it and laid it out, and then we tended to go along and make holes along the perimeter, put these bigger sapling pieces down in there, bend those over into the shape we wanted. So we have a kind of a central wall that runs, that's about 17 feet high, and then we have these little curlicues that branch off of that and make like 7 little bivouacs, like little cabanas, little roofless places, kind of simple shelter. And the top is enlivened with a kind of a piping, a rolled look that you might see along the edge of your couch cushion. And that allows it to be unified. There's a unifying factor there. So when you look at it from the house here, you look down and you see a kind of a flowing line that moves along the entire the piece. And so there's a huge unifying effect in that. I have to say that people have been very kind to me here. I've really enjoyed my time in Falmouth. We've had several people, the bagel shop, Cape Cod Bagel has provided our lunches, which has been great. And we've had some other, George Chapman, who is a local gardener and has a beautiful garden. He was our volunteer coordinator, started out that way, but then ended up giving us his talent by working really hard on the sculpture himself. He's done a lot of the windows and doors in the sculpture, and he should be, we're really proud to have had him. I do love what I do. I have been working at it a long time, and there's the rubric of working with sticks, but that's the same boring aspect that everybody faces in their job, but then there are all the people that you meet, and so that enlivens the situation. And there's a kind of responsibility to the publics and various places to try to do a great work, one that has some energy in it and some excitement, and that causes the public to come running. Here in Falmouth at Highfield Hall, we've been about every 5 minutes somebody yells, "Oh wow, that's the greatest thing I've ever seen." So in terms of the reception for sculpture, it can't be better than that.
A passing fancy, as he calls the massive sculpture, should be a highlight for Falmouth visitors and residents alike for the rest of the summer. Thanks to Tony Sedera for that coverage. The Falmouth Jewish Congregation's 2019 Summer Jewish Film Festival continues its tradition of offering award-winning and thought-provoking films that inspire, educate, and move us. Recently, Pamela Rothstein, Director of Lifelong Learning, came to the Falmouth Community Media Center to tell us more about this year's films.
Hello, my name is Pamela Rothstein, and I'm here to tell you about Falmouth Jewish Congregation's Jewish Film Festival this summer, running on Tuesdays in matinee and evening performances, on Tuesdays throughout July and on 2 dates in August. Included in the ticket price are refreshments of popcorn and watermelon and drinks, and every film is followed by a discussion that I guide, and those are really wonderful ways to reflect on those films within our own community. These films are open to everybody. I encourage you to take a look at the schedule online at falmouthjewishcongregation.org, where you can also purchase your tickets. This year's selection includes 7 films, of which 2 are documentaries and 5 are feature dramatic films, some of them straight drama or biopics, and at least 1 a comedy. And we start out with a bang with the film Ask Dr. Ruth. So I hope you'll come to that film about this petite but powerhouse of a woman on July 2nd. The second film in the festival takes place on July 9th, and it is Promise at Dawn, a drama and biopic story of this remarkable French citizen and man of letters who his formative years were during the war, and how his mother pushed him not only to survive but to flourish during that time and afterwards. Next up on July 16th, for Change in Pace, a comedy about Israeli-Palestinian relations. The film's title is Tel Aviv on Fire. It's a really fun comedy, great acting, and a nice change of perspective on Israeli and Arab relations. Next up on July 23rd, a remarkable and very powerful documentary entitled Who Will Write Our History? So it documents not only how the Jews of the ghetto died, but also a rare account of how they lived. On July 30th, we have a drama from Denmark entitled A Fortunate Man, based on the Nobel Prize-winning novel Lykke Per, A Fortunate Man, and directed by Bille August, the director of Pelle the Conqueror. This epic drama is a gorgeously realized film with dazzling cinematography, exceptional performances, sumptuous costume design, and period detail. I highly recommend it, and I imagine you'll come out of that rewarded by learning new things, but also just enjoying a beautiful film. On August 6th, we have a dramatic feature from Israel, The Unorthodox, directed by Eliran Malka and starring Shuli Rand, who is the Orthodox actor who starred in the film Ushpizin. A terrific mix of historical and creative retelling of that period of Israeli history, and a continuingly relevant story about the formation of parties within a democratic society. The festival season ends on Tuesday, August 27th, with the drama The Interpreter. Featuring finely modulated performances, this film explores themes of memory, trauma, and guilt through the shared history of characters seeking to bridge their differences and reclaim their humanity. It's a very well-made and well-acted film with some surprises, and it sort of sets off, gives us a terrific closing film and lots to think about as we discuss that at the end of each film. We hope you'll come to these films. Again, they're open to the public. Our conversations about the films are enriched by every person's presence and different perspectives. And see you at the movies soon.
The films are on Tuesdays at 2 and 7:30 p.m. Thanks to Alan Russell for that coverage. The Falmouth Garden Club recently held their annual June Blooms event, featuring 7 dazzling local gardens. We met with Robin Ketchen from the club to give us more information about the group and the local gardeners that make it happen.
We were founded in 1931, and we've been going strong ever since. We've upward of 150 members at present. We meet once a month, 11 months of the year, on the first Monday of the month. Guests are always welcome to attend our meetings at any time. We maintain the gardens at the Wicks House, next to the Historical Society, and the Cupola Garden, which is across the street from the library. Many of you may not know but the cupola came from the Hall School, which was where the parking lot of the Mullen School is located. It was just a 6th grade school. Actually, I went to that school. We put flowers in the window boxes at the bus depot, plant pots at the Chamber of Commerce. Also, weekly flowers are placed at the front desk of the library. At Christmas, we sing carols at a nursing home, and on Veterans Day and Memorial Day, we place a basket of flowers on the War Memorial in front of the library. We make seasonal tray favors 4 or 5 times a year that are placed on trays for Meals on Wheels recipients. We offer scholarships for higher education each year. Some past programs that we've had, just to give you an idea what kind of programs we have. We had a flower designer from the White House. We had somebody speak on bees, seaweed of the Cape Cod shores, butterflies, community farming by Capabilities down in Hyannis, container gardening, and we also had our own small standard flower show. Those are just some of the things that we do. We are very, very active, as you can see at this garden tour today. For a list of programs and activities, visit our website, falmouthgardenclub.org.
The Garden Club will be holding their annual bake sale on August 24th. Thanks to Justin Moore for that coverage. After this short break, we'll be back with a look at the latest goings-on at the library. Stay with us. Welcome back. As many of you know, there's always a lot going on at the Falmouth Public Library's 3 branches. To find out what they have planned for the summer and check out their new book bike, we stopped by the main branch and met with Assistant Director Jennifer Woodward.
We have a ton of events on this lawn all summer long. Generally, it's going to be in the kids' room. We have stuff happening here and also at the East Falmouth Library. There's a theme of Universe of Stories is the main theme, which is mostly all over the country, the summer reading theme. It's at Tuesdays at 3 o'clock at the main library. And on Mondays at the East Falmouth Library, there will be events associated with their new Summer Eats program.
It's going to be Monday, Tuesdays and Wednesdays, 11:30 to 1 p.m. for any kids under the age of 18 years old can get a free lunch. We also provide programming during that time. We have performers on Mondays. Our Miss Donna from the kids' room downtown comes out on Tuesdays, and we do a variety of activities on Wednesdays.
Library book sale starts on the 4th of July this year. The book bike will be there the whole time. We got this bike and we won it at a large library conference called Public Library Association. The book bike, we been having a thing on Mondays. We do out here Mondays, 2:30 to 4:30, and every third Monday we do give away books, and it's adult books. It's been adult books because kids have been in school so far. And then every third one we give away DVDs, and that's also popular. And then on the last one, before we start the rotation again, we talk about the digital products, but we are happy to talk about ebooks and e-audio books at any time. So that's a big thing. So, and then we'll also be at Surf Dive Beach Thursdays, 4:45 in July, Thursday evenings, after you don't have to pay for parking anymore. In the farmers market every other week, 1:30 to 3 o'clock, weather permitting. It is our first year, so that's important to know. So we're kind of learning here, and next year we'll see how that goes. We are getting people asking if we could come It's just a matter of getting there during the busy season. So.
For more information, visit the library's website at falmouthpubliclibrary.org. Thanks to Alan Russell for that coverage. FCTV wants you to know that television can be as easy as hitting record on your smartphone. We'd like to invite all Falmouth residents and visitors to share their slice of life with us. Email us your photos and videos or upload them to Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram using the hashtag MyFalmouth or Falmouth in Focus to be featured on the show. Thank you to our most recent contributors. We leave you now with the sights and sounds from the 4th of July in Falmouth. Thank you for watching Falmouth in Focus. We'll see you next time.